Let's see how this sport shift works. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness Edition. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to Mark Miller Subaru for giving me some time with this Outback. Check out their inventory and link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.4 liter flat 4-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic that does mimic having 8 different speeds that you can shift through. Now, aside from that, this does have 260 horsepower and then 277 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 26 on the highway. And then they have re-geared this so it's better for low-speed climbing, which I think that's a pretty cool feature, but that's under the hood of the Wilderness Edition. Now let's go over the front end of the Wilderness Edition. First off, this one's finished in autumn green metallic, which I think looks so cool. It's like perfect for this package. But anyways, notice that we've got the decal there in the center of the hood, kind of gives it a sportier appearance. And then coming down below, we've got the full LED lights with the LED accent light. And then we've got the upgraded fog lights that are part of this Wilderness Edition. And then notice the gold accenting there on either side, which I think looks really cool. There's actually a camera there below the Subaru logo. And then this package does come with a skid plate. You guys can probably kind of see that right underneath the front end. Obviously added protection if you do take this off-road, which I mean, that's what this package is all about. But yeah, other than that, there is everything for the front end. And we're going to take a quick detour because they have another Wilderness Edition, and you guys can see this one is finished in blue. I'll go look at the name of the color quickly, but you guys can see this package just looks cool. And also look at the rack there on the top, which I think that's pretty neat. But let's quickly see what the color is on this one. Guys are blue. They have like the coolest names for colors. But as you guys can see, looks great in blue, looks great in green. So coming around the side here, we've got two 25mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. Notice how the wheels are all blacked out and have that cool off-roader look. And then we do have these all-terrain tires, which are going to help with grip. Now this has a pretty cool setup. So it does have off-road tuned suspension. It's independent suspension in all 4 corners, so that's actually going to help out quite a bit. It also has active torque vectoring as well. And so yeah, pretty complex stuff happening here. And then you guys can kind of get a quick look at that. And then notice the look here with the fender flares there on the side and then the molding all along for added protection. We have our Wilderness logo, and then you guys can see the mirrors. I like how you have the contrast between the green and the matte black elements on this, and then they continued that around the window, and then the Outback logo has been finished in gold. And then notice we've got the rack up here, and again you've got the gold right there, which again looks really good. And then if you guys were wondering, since we're talking about suspension and everything, this does have 9.5 inches of front ground clearance, which I mean, that's pretty good for an Outback. Now let's pop into the rear, and I guess this is where we'll talk about the payload and towing capacity. So payload's 900 pounds, towing capacity is 3,500 pounds. And then popping here, notice we've got a cargo cover that's already built in. These latches right here, just throw it on the seats. There's another one on the other side for the other seat. You have netting back here, and then we've got the giant rubber floor covering with the rubber floor mats, which I mean makes sense, right? If you're gonna take this off-road, you want rubber floor mats so everything's easier to clean. Then if we pick this up, there's a latch underneath here that you can see there's a little bit of extra storage, and we do get a spare tire with this as well. It is an all-terrain tire, so don't worry. If you get a flat when you're off-roading, you have another all-terrain tire to help you get out. And also, there is a little 12 volts back here, but that is everything for the rear. Also, I think this is cool how they have that brought up, but now that's officially everything for the rear. Hey, I gotta press the button. Come on. You think I'd be good at this point. Now let's finish things up here in the rear. First off, we've got the beautiful lights that you guys know I'm a huge fan of here on the Outback. And then notice the black accenting there on the side. We've got all of our blacked out badging. We have another Wilderness badge right here. And yeah, look at the gold accenting. Exhaust tips. And then, by the way, they have revised the rear bumper and also the front bumper. I forgot to mention that when we were going over the front, but they basically revised them to add with the ground clearance in the front and the rear to help out with departure angles and approach angles, which another cool feature of the Wilderness Edition, but that's all for the back. Now here's the door panel in the rear. Notice we have really nice leather here on this portion of the door panel, and then down below where you're going to rest your arm. And then we've got the gold contrasted stitching trim just up above. And then we do have automatic windows even for the rear passengers. Now here are the seats. I love the design on these. So you've got the smooth leather here in the center, and then notice how they did this really cool design with the hexagons there on the side. And then we have really nice stitching on the outside. All together looks great. Now popping in, if you guys are wondering, about 6 foot legroom, great. Headroom, also great. I have quite a bit of space. And then you can see we've got some vents back here. We've got some heated seats, we've got some USBs, all the normal nice stuff. Armrest with some cup holders. Let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel in the front, and again, they remind you that you have the Wilderness Edition. But again, same beautiful leather here, more leather down below with that gold stitching. Notice that, again, all the windows are automatic, which is a cool feature. And then here are the seats at the front. They say Subaru Wilderness there at the top. And they have that same cool design with the smooth leather, and then you've got the hexagon shapes, and then all the stitching there on the outside. They are power adjustable. There's a quick look at the pedals. Notice that they've got nice metallic trim there on the top, so they actually look really good. And then notice that this turns off the rear hatch, so if you just want it to function like a hydraulic hatch, you can do that. And then you've got that for the hatch as well. And then notice we even have stitching and soft touch right there, and then up above as well. So really good use of materials, but there's one more look before we pop in. Here is our steering wheel. Notice that we actually have pretty rough leather all around the steering wheel. Now this actually makes sense from an off-roading perspective because you want to be able to get a good grip on the steering wheel. So smart on Subaru for doing that. Notice we got the gold stitching, and then we have more gold accenting. I just love it. I haven't seen this in a car before, and I think it looks great. Coming over here, notice that we've got the cruise control. This does have the steering assistance and adaptive cruise control. We've got our voice command, phone controls over here, controls for the center screen. Got the little stalk for the turn signal, windshield wipers. Also, there's paddle shifters in the back that go through that CVT. Again, it mimics having 8 speeds. Now here's the center gauge cluster. Again, notice there's more gold accenting, which again looks pretty cool if you ask me. But there's a couple different menus you can scroll through to see different bits of information on the vehicle. Nothing too crazy, but yeah, definitely love that gold accenting. Wow, this infotainment system is massive. First off, we're gonna pop it into reverse. So notice we got a backup camera with trajectory lines. They turn at the steering wheel. Resolution is great. I think it's funny that you can change the drive mode here. I don't know why they did it that way, but like you pop it in reverse and it's like, also, do you want to change the drive mode? I mean, I don't know, pretty cool. But if we put it back in park, we do have a camera button, which notice if we press that, we've got the front camera right there, and you've got those little red lines that kind of let you know, hey, you probably should stop because you're gonna hit the front. But yeah, really good from a camera perspective. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, again, it's massive. You've got analog controls on the other side for like the climate, and then down below, you've got a little shortcut button right there. But response time on the screen is great. And notice that you can see like driving statistics, and notice it tells you like everything. It's pretty cool, all the stuff that you can see here with this infotainment system. But again, it's easy to use, and response time is great on the infotainment system. And you can see that you've got little thing right here where you can change through at the top, for example, that gives you vehicle information. So like in previous Subarus, they'd have it up on the dash, but now they have it integrated there into the infotainment system. But yeah, I think the whole system overall pretty cool. And then if you guys are wondering, this does come with heated seats, and then it does have dual zone climate. Now the next thing we have to go over is the drive modes. So it is the X modes, and notice that we've got 3 different modes. So we have our normal, which is going to be your regular street driving. You've got your deep snow and mud that you can shift into, and then we also have our snow and our dirt, and it gives you an animation over here that looks pretty cool because it shows it like half and half. I mean, that one isn't cool, but like those two, definitely cool. But these drive modes were specifically tuned for this Wilderness Edition, so it's supposed to just be able to completely tackle and destroy those conditions. So we've got a wireless phone charger right here, so you kind of slide your phone in there, and it's cool that it actually holds your phone in place so it doesn't slide all over the place. A lot of automakers haven't figured that out. Subaru has. And then notice you've got some USBs right there, parking brake. We've got the shifter for that CVT automatic, really nice gold trim on the outside, and then nice stitching down below. You've got your manual mode just right there, and again, got the paddles for that. Couple cup holders. We've got the center console, which notice you've got that top shelf, and then you can lift that up and you've got even more storage space underneath. And then closing that, notice we've got more leather here, stitching across. I really like that. That trim piece looks really cool. And then more leather down below, regular glove box, and then you've got that piece of storage space, like your passenger can just throw their phone in there, for example. And then finishing things here at the top, we've got a sunglass holder, no sunroof or anything like that. I mean, you don't really need one in an off-road package. It just kind of gets in the way, but that's all for the top. Well, it is the perfect time of day, so there's just a ton of glare on the window. You guys can see the window sticker, but anyways, total MSRP $39,142. And wait for it, wait for it, wait a little bit longer. Let's take her out and see how she drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Wilderness Edition. There's your visibility over the hood, and then through both of the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And something that I want to mention while we're going over visibility is this actually has anti-glare technology with the hood. So if it's like super bright outside, the hood won't glare back at you, which I think that's pretty cool, so you won't get like blinded or anything if you're off-roading. But anyways, let's set off. We are setting off in the 2022 Outback Wilderness Edition, and I was super excited when I got the text message that I could review one of these, because I've been waiting a long time. You guys know I am a huge fan of anything off-road. I don't care who makes it. If they make an off-road package, I am all about it. So first off, let's talk about how this drives. And from a ride quality perspective, it's very smooth actually. I wasn't expecting that, because a lot of times when manufacturers go and make an off-road package, you have to give up some things, right? You've got to give up noise insulation, you've got to give up ride quality to an extent. And with this, you really aren't giving up either. The tire noise isn't ridiculous, like it's pretty much normal. And on top of that, ride quality is still really smooth. It still does all the stuff that the Outback is great at on road. And so I'm glad that Subaru was able to manage that. And gosh, this gold, love it. Let's see how this sport shift works. That's actually really good. So response time with the paddles is actually, I mean, when you downshift and when you upshift, it's pretty much instantaneous. And man, this turbocharged engine has some grunt, let me tell you. It's actually got really good low-end torque, which is going to be great when you do take this off-road, when you are crawling. And the turbo lag isn't all that bad. And so again, that's going to be another big plus when you're off-roading. Yeah, really good power. This is like the perfect engine for this vehicle and for off-roading purposes. I think they absolutely nailed it by putting the 2.4 in this. But yeah, overall acceleration is great. And if you guys don't know, again, in Utah here, we're at about 4,500 feet elevation, and so turbochargers are king because you don't get as much power loss as a naturally aspirated engine. Now let's get into setting things up with this Wilderness Edition overall from a driving perspective, and then just, you know, my final thoughts on this as a vehicle. So first off, you aren't giving anything up on road. It still drives great, still drives just like any other Outback, but obviously it looks way cooler than a regular Outback with all of the gold accenting, and then with the off-road wheels and tires. And I mean, when people see this, they know what's up. But let's actually talk about this Wilderness Edition. So I think this is actually a really solid package. Subaru actually put some pretty cool engineering into this to make this package happen, right? They specially tuned the suspension, obviously giving it the off-road wheels and tires helped out as well. But on top of that, giving the torque, the active torque vectoring is another cool feature that comes with this. And then having extra ground clearance because they changed things with the bumpers. It's just, there's so much that has gone into this, and it's just really cool. And it's also really affordable. Most off-road packages, especially for SUVs like this, are pretty expensive. This, on the other hand, is still in that affordable realm. It's under $40,000. And so with everything you're getting from a safety tech perspective, with the interior quality that you're getting, and then obviously from just a technology perspective as well, it's just a really good value. And then you throw in the fact that this is an off-roading machine with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system, and I really like it. I think this is the best package to come out of Subaru in a while. And if you're looking for an off-road SUV, don't overlook this because it's a lot better than you think. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Subaru Outback Wilderness Edition. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to Mark Miller Subaru for giving me some time with this Outback. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I will see all of you in that next video.